Okay, here's something that I really hate. I hate to buy something that I hope that I'll never, ever use. And the thing is, I'm talking about something that's very expensive. And you have to buy it, whether you like it or not. And I'm talking about insurance. Specifically, I'm talking about car insurance. But the other thing I hate is I hate to talk about bad news when it comes to EVs. But this isn't just regarding EVs, it's regarding car insurance, period. And I think a discussion is a good thing, and hopefully this will spark a discussion on the comments line down below. I hope you'll leave your 2 cents on this, but car insurance has gotten just super expensive, and there's not a whole lot we can do about it. We have to buy it. So let's have a little conversation. Let's go to it. So people often say that insuring an EV is much more expensive than a gas car. But is that really true? Especially for someone who's over 70 like me, living on retirement income. So what we're going to do is kind of break this down and talk about it. I don't want to go into a lot of boring details because you can really get bogged down with numbers, but I want to kind of talk about the reality of my personal experience on insuring my EV. Back in 2020, I owned a GMC pickup truck. It was a 2014, and it had a value of around $27,000. And I had that car insured, and it was costing me $764 for 12 months. Now that car doesn't have the value of my EV by any stretch. My EV, I paid just $99,000, say $100,000 for that car. And so it was a lot more expensive. So of course it's going to cost more to insure that. So I have insurance right now on my Lucid Air 2023. I have 27,000 miles approximately on the car. Realistically, its value right now is half of what I paid for it. Depreciation's a killer on a new car. EVs, are probably maybe a little bit worse. I don't know. That's another topic of conversation I'd like to have. But generally, the EVs do cost more to insure. So my car is worth about double what my truck was worth at the same time, same stage of its life. I sold my truck for $27,000, so I know that's what it was valued at. I did quite a bit of research back then when I was selling the truck. So what I'm paying right now for a 12-month premium on my Lucid is $2,327, so about 3 times as much. Again, the car is more valuable, so that sure comes into play. But as a senior, you kind of go through a stage in your life when you're a young driver that you get penalized for being young. And then you go through kind of a middle stage where you're not young anymore and you're not old. So you have a little bit less of an insurance risk. And so your prices may go down, but you have other things to consider too in your life that you don't have when you're younger or when you're older. As you become a senior, the insurance rates go down for a bit because you're considered less of a risk for various reasons. Not the risk takers that we were when we were younger, probably, more than anything. Don't do some of those things I used to do. But as you get older, I'm in my late 70s now, the insurance rates start going back up again because they consider your reaction time to to different events that may happen when you're driving is not to be as fast or as good as they once were. And I don't disagree with that at all. I think as older drivers, you do create more risk. Now, on the other side of that, on the risk side of it, the technology that's in this Lucid of mine is not unlike technology that's in a lot of new cars that are coming off now. They're very much computer controlled. And what that does is my car provides a whole nother level of protection against against serious injury, the occupants of the car. I have things that built into my car, like over 30 cameras and LiDAR, radar, ultrasound. I've got all kinds of technology built into the car so that it can avoid collisions, that when I make a mistake, the car can fix my mistake in a hurry for me. And it's done that, where I backed up and could have easily backed into something because I didn't see it, and the car just stops. It doesn't allow you to hit things. So there's a lot of things built into the newer cars that give seniors and gives everybody better protection, but I think it becomes even more important for seniors. At least it does for me. I appreciate having the car looking over my shoulder rather than my wife. So I think I'd rather have the car tell me I'm making a mistake than my wife. But anyway, back to the insurance costs. It is a problem, and it is just super expensive. I mean, it's a lot of money. At $2,400 a year, that's a lot of money every month that you have to pay out in order to insure a car. Now, a new gas car, comparable value is probably going to be not too far off from that. I kind of did some investigation on that, and I came up with all kinds of numbers. But EVs the bottom line of it is EVs are more expensive to repair because of their high-tech components that are built into them. So that's going to run up the cost of insurance because there's more damage that can be done, more expense involved if there's an accident or something happens. They have better safety ratings, the new cars. That's a really important thing that I love, is that, like I said, that bubble of protection that's around me means a lot to me. And I wouldn't have a car now at my age without having that built into the car. But looking at some real world examples, and I'd love to hear your comments on this, your experience on this down below in the comment section, of things, or maybe what you're paying for insurance and where you live and your circumstance, because it's going to vary for all of us. I have a clean driving record. I haven't had any accidents, and had one little minor speeding violation, which I don't think I deserved, but I got it anyway. But that was about 3 or 4 years ago. So that's off my record, and it wasn't in my Lucid, it was in our gas car. But my driving record's clean, so I'm not being penalized. But there's a lot of things that is taken into consideration by the insurance companies when they're giving you the bad news on insurance and what it's going to cost you. But drivers here in Central Washington, we're not in a real busy downtown place at all. I mean, not a lot of traffic. It's rural area, a lot of tourists in the area, but not an unsafe area like it might be in some downtown area. But a luxury car, whether it's a Lexus ES or Mercedes E-Class or whatever it happens to be, the difference is, from the research I did, the difference is going to be maybe 10 to 15% more for EVs than it would be for gas cars. And that really comes down again to the fact that the cars are very high tech, and it requires special equipment if there's a collision or some damage to the car. A lot of it has to be done by the dealer, by Lucid or any of the dealers that sell EVs, because there are not enough people out there that are trained to repair this new technology. So you do have to have a good relationship with your manufacturer, that they have places that you can get work done. Fortunately, I haven't needed anything other than a windshield. And I did go to the Lucid dealer for that because they couldn't, Safelite could not do the job because they didn't have the equipment or the windshield. This was shortly after I bought it. A rock hit the windshield and cracked it. So there's those things you have to consider when you're buying an EV, is to take not only the cost of the insurance, but if you do need to have body work done on it, or something else goes wrong, that you realize there may be some inconveniences that go with that. Something to consider if you're buying an EV. But the Lucid, compared to other cars like the Tesla Model Y or the Kia EV6, insurance cost, simply because there's a luxury status and there's a limited repair network, they're going to cost quite a bit to repair, and you end up paying for insurance for that. But the gap isn't huge, and it's similar to comparing to BMWs or Hondas on the gas side. Any luxury car, any car, that's a consideration. I've heard, and the research I did, is that Teslas are one of the most expensive cars to repair. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but you Tesla owners, I'd love to get some feedback from you on that as to what your experience is. I think Tesla is, for the value, I think it's one of the best deals out there as far as value, and they have the best tech in the software. The others, like my Lucid, are doing catch up to Tesla, no question about it. But I haven't owned a Tesla, so I can't speak from experience. But I would sure be interested in hearing from Tesla owners what they say about getting service, and particularly any accident repairs, things like that, costs. I have talked to some people that say that they've had a lot of problems, but I don't know that that's true. So I'd love to hear from you. But at my age, I look at cars differently. I'm 77 years old, and I want comfort, and I want as low a hassle as I can have, and predictability and cost and safety. And insurance is part of all that. And honestly, the cost difference between EVs and gas cars is smaller than I think what most people assume. And for me, it's not a deal breaker, especially when you factor in fuel savings and lower maintenance. All of the things that it will save you money on the back end, even if you're paying more for insurance. So again, that tech bubble of safety, I just can't stress that enough. And if I would never buy another car that doesn't have it, I'm going to stick with EVs for the rest of my life because I love them. But if I was to buy a gas car, it would have that tech on it, or I wouldn't consider buying it, because it will help keep you accident free. I don't care how good a driver you are, having eyes all around you all the time, and not your wife's eyes or your spouse's eyes, but the car's eyes looking around you all the time, I think is just really an awesome thing to have, and I think it's really important. But looking at the whole picture, charging, maintenance, and peace of mind, to me the EV still makes a lot of sense, and even in retirement it does. I'm not fully retired, I'm still working, but I think for anybody that's into considering an EV, I love my EV. It's worth, if I pay more for insurance, for me it's worth it. But I really would love to hear from you on what you have to say about this whole insurance thing. I've been reading a lot of comments on some of the forums, and there's a lot of complaining about the cost of insurance, rightfully so. But anyway, please post your comments down below, and if you like this channel, I'm trying to build the channel, and people are watching it. That's wonderful. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. I'm real close, so I'd appreciate it if you like this video to give it a thumbs up, and I'd really appreciate you subscribing to my channel. If you already have, thank you very much. I appreciate you supporting me. I'm having a lot of fun doing these YouTube videos, and I want to keep doing them, so I hope you'll subscribe to the channel and come back and see me soon. So thank you again very much for joining me, and hope to see you again soon. Thank you.